Men, let's cut through the noise. If a woman tells you certain things, that's not a challenge for you to fix. It's a signal for you to walk away. Too many men waste years trying to hold on to women who already told them, in plain words, that they don't value the relationship. The problem isn't that she's unclear. The problem is that most men don't believe what they hear. They make excuses, they rationalize, or they tell themselves, she doesn't really mean it. But here's the hard truth. In female psychology, when a woman says specific things, she's revealing the truth about how she sees you. And that truth is rarely something you can change. Welcome to Female Code Unlocked. This isn't just another video about dating games or surface level advice. This one is about protecting your self-respect, your energy, and your peace of mind. Because here's the uncomfortable reality. Many women will test a man to see how much nonsense he's willing to tolerate. And if you ignore the red flags in what she says, you'll end up investing in a situation that only drains you. Think about it. If she's already telling you she doesn't respect you, doesn't value what you bring, or doesn't see you as the man she wants, why would you stay? Yet many men stay anyway. Out of fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear of losing someone who already doesn't want to be kept. That's where men go wrong. This series is about clarity. It's about training yourself to actually listen to what women say instead of brushing it off or trying to negotiate attraction. If she says one of these 7 things, your job isn't to convince her otherwise. Your job is to get up, walk away, and never look back. Because the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to escape the emotional trap. So let's break it down. If she ever says these things, she's not just talking, she's showing you who she really is. And the best thing you can do for yourself is believe her. 1. I don't need you. When a woman tells you, I don't need you, pay close attention. At first, it might sound like independence. And independence by itself isn't a problem. A strong, capable woman who handles her life is attractive. But when she says this line in the context of your relationship, it often carries a hidden message. You don't matter in my life the way you think you do. A healthy woman in a relationship knows the difference between independence and connection. She doesn't need you for survival, but she chooses you because you add value to her life. That's respect. That's desire. That's partnership. But when she says, I don't need you, what she's really communicating is that you're not essential in her world. And no relationship survives long-term without mutual importance. Picture this. You're there for her every time she needs support. You help her when she's down. You make sacrifices to show her she's important. Instead of appreciating it, she shrugs it off and says, I don't need you. I can handle it all myself. On the surface, it looks like confidence, but underneath, it's dismissal. She's diminishing your role and your effort. If she truly cared, she wouldn't strip away your contribution. She'd recognize it, appreciate it, and still stand as her own person. Now here's where men mess up. The moment they hear this, they double down. They try to prove how valuable they are. They think, if I just do more, she'll realize how much I matter. But this only backfires. Why? Because you're teaching her that she can disrespect your role and you'll still beg for validation. You're showing her that you'll compete for a position she already told you she doesn't want you to have. And that's not strength, it's weakness. A man with self-respect doesn't argue with this line. He doesn't fight to prove his worth. He hears it, accepts it, and leaves. Because the truth is simple. If she can't value your presence, your effort, and your role, you're already losing by staying. 2. You're too good for me. The next phrase sounds sweet at first glance. You're too good for me. Some men hear this and think it's a compliment. They tell themselves, she sees my value, she's just insecure. But more often than not, this is nothing but a disguised exit strategy. It's her way of softening the truth. She's not fully invested, and she doesn't want to say it directly. Here's the mistake men make. They interpret this as insecurity. They think, if I just reassure her enough, if I show her how much I like her, she'll change her mind. So they start working harder. They shower her with attention. They give more of themselves in hopes of convincing her she's good enough. But here's the brutal reality. Attraction doesn't work that way. A woman doesn't want to be convinced into being with a man. She wants to feel that she can't resist him. She wants emotional alignment, not logical persuasion. So when she says, "You're too good for me," what she's really saying is, "I don't see myself giving you what you deserve." That's not humility. It's her telling you that she's already mentally checked out. Yes, she might keep you around for attention. She might lean on you when she's lonely. But she won't give you the kind of relationship you want. And the longer you stay, the more you become her backup plan instead of her choice. Here's something men need to understand. When a woman is truly invested, she doesn't push you away by saying you're too good. She doesn't try to downgrade herself to escape the relationship. Instead, she fights to keep you. She rises to meet your standards. So when she drops this line, don't see it as insecurity. See it as her letting you know, "I'm not all in. I won't give you what you're looking for." The right response? Don't argue. Don't reassure. Don't chase. Walk away. Because the woman who's truly right for you won't tell you you're too good for her. She'll fight to prove she's good enough to keep you. Key lesson. So far. When women use phrases like, "I don't need you," or "You're too good for me," they aren't handing you puzzles to solve. They're handing you the truth about where they stand. And if you ignore that truth, you set yourself up for years of wasted energy. This is where men either protect their value or destroy it. Believe her words the first time. 3. I'm not ready for a relationship. This one trips up more men than almost any other. When a woman says, "I'm not ready for a relationship," most guys immediately think, "Okay, she's just not ready now. If I'm patient, if I stick around, if I prove myself, eventually she'll be ready, and I'll be the one she chooses." But here's the harsh truth. When a woman says this line, she's usually not saying she isn't ready in general. She's saying she isn't ready with you. Think about it. Women who feel deep attraction and emotional connection will always find a way to make space for the man they truly want. She might have a busy career, family stress, or personal struggles. But if you're the man she feels strongly about, she won't risk letting you slip away. She'll make it work, no matter how chaotic her life is. So when she says, "I'm not ready for a relationship," what she's really saying is, "I don't see myself building a relationship with you." It's not timing. It's not bad luck. It's not her needing to figure things out. It's disinterest, wrapped in soft language so she doesn't feel like the villain. And here's the trap men fall into. Instead of listening, they become her patient caretaker. They wait around. They play the role of the supportive guy, sticking by her side until she's ready. Meanwhile, she enjoys all the benefits of his attention, his time, his affection, without ever committing to him. She gets security without responsibility, comfort without investment, a backup plan while she explores her options. Ask yourself this. If someone told you they weren't ready for dinner, would you sit at the table starving, waiting hours, hoping they'll suddenly get hungry? Of course not. You'd move on. Yet in relationships, men ignore the obvious and treat "not ready" like it's an obstacle to overcome instead of the rejection it is. Understand this. When a woman wants you, she won't risk losing you. She won't say, "Not right now." She'll do everything in her power to hold on. So the next time you hear, "I'm not ready for a relationship," don't wait around. Don't try to prove you're worth waiting for. Respect yourself enough to step away. Because the man who keeps himself available to a woman who isn't ready is just setting himself up for heartbreak. 4. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. This phrase stings the most because it sounds so tender, so caring, so safe. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. On the surface, it feels like she still values you, like she still wants you in her life. But underneath, it's one of the clearest signs that the relationship is already over. When a woman says this, what she really means is, "I care about you, but I no longer feel the desire, passion, or attraction that keeps romance alive." In her mind, you've shifted categories, from partner to family member, from lover to friend, and once that switch flips, it's almost impossible to flip back. But here's what most men do. They panic. They go into rescue mode. They start thinking, maybe if I plan more trips, maybe if I buy her more gifts, maybe if I just become more exciting, she'll feel that spark again. But the harder they try, the worse it gets. Why? Because women don't fall back in love with effort. They fall for the man's presence, his confidence, and the emotions he creates within her. If that's gone, no amount of external effort will bring it back. And here's the truth many men don't want to face. This line is usually her transition statement. It's what she says when she's mentally preparing to leave. She doesn't want to look like the bad guy, so she softens the blow with, I still love you. But the love she's talking about isn't romantic. It's the affection you feel for a brother or a close friend. The real danger? Men latch onto the I love you part and ignore the not in love part. They convince themselves it's just a phase. They hold on to false hope. They believe if they just keep trying, she'll eventually reignite her feelings. But ask yourself honestly, how often do people truly rekindle passion after saying these words? Very rarely. Because attraction isn't something you can negotiate back into existence. It's either there or it's not. When a woman says, I love you but I'm not in love with you, she's giving you a polite goodbye. She's telling you she cares enough not to hurt you outright, but her emotions have already detached. If you stay after hearing this line, you're not saving the relationship, you're prolonging the breakup, you're dragging out your own suffering, investing in something that's already over. The man with dignity doesn't fight against this phrase. He doesn't cling. He doesn't try to respark a fire that's already burned out. He accepts the truth, respects himself, and walks away. Because in the end, it's better to lose someone who doesn't feel passion for you than to lose your own self-respect trying to convince her. Key lesson. So far. I'm not ready for a relationship means she's not ready with you. I love you, but I'm not in love with you means she's already emotionally checked out. Both are not puzzles to solve. They're exit signs. And if you respect yourself, you won't ignore them. 5. I need space. This phrase has fooled millions of men. When a woman says, I need space, most men interpret it as temporary. They think she's stressed, overwhelmed, or just wants some breathing room. So they give her time, they back off, and they wait, hoping she'll come back refreshed and more committed. But here's the reality. In most cases, I need space is not about space. It's about detachment. It's not a pause button. It's the beginning of her exit strategy. Think about it. In a healthy relationship, space happens naturally. You go to work, she goes to work. You both have friends, hobbies, and responsibilities that create natural distance. You don't have to formally request it. It's built into life. So when a woman specifically says, I need space, it usually means something deeper. It means she no longer feels the same way about you and needs to pull back emotionally. By the time she says it out loud, she's already been drifting in her heart for weeks, maybe months. Picture this. You notice she's suddenly distant. She takes longer to reply to texts. She's less affectionate. She doesn't plan dates the way she used to. When you finally ask what's wrong, she says, I just need some space right now. You tell yourself she's just stressed from work or family. But weeks pass, and the space doesn't shrink. It grows. That space becomes silence, and that silence becomes the graveyard of the relationship. The mistake men make here is giving her endless space while waiting for her to return. They think they're being patient and respectful, but what they're really doing is holding themselves hostage. Here's the harsh truth. When a woman truly cares about you, she doesn't need space to figure it out. When life gets hard, she leans on you, not away from you. If she's asking for space, it's because she's already testing what life feels like without you. Or worse, she's already lining up her next option. Now, not every request for space means the relationship is over. Sometimes people genuinely need time to process emotions or deal with stress. But the difference is this. A woman who's still invested will reassure you of her commitment even while asking for space. She'll say, I just need a little time to sort myself out, but I love you and I'm not going anywhere. If she doesn't give you that reassurance, don't ignore the truth. I need space is often code for, I'm halfway out the door. The man with self-respect doesn't wait around hoping she'll come back. He doesn't treat space like a test he has to pass. He sees the detachment for what it is, and he walks away before he wastes months living in limbo. 6. I don't see a future with you. If there's one phrase you should never ignore, it's this one. I don't see a future with you. This is not a subtle message. It's not a test. It's not even a coded way of saying something else. It's the truth in its plainest form. But here's what happens. Many men panic when they hear it. They start making promises. I'll change, I'll do better, I'll show you why we belong together. Others pretend it didn't happen. They convince themselves she's just confused, afraid of commitment, or saying it in the heat of the moment. Both reactions are wrong. Because when a woman tells you she doesn't see a future with you, she's not brainstorming possibilities, she's giving you her decision. By the time those words come out of her mouth, she's already thought about it. She's already weighed it, probably discussed it with her friends, and emotionally prepared herself to let you go. Think about it. When a woman is truly invested, she doesn't question the future. Even if life is uncertain, even if challenges exist, she still imagines you by her side. She pictures you in her plans, her growth, her dreams. That's what happens when she's emotionally connected. But when she says she doesn't see a future, it means she's already detached from the long-term vision. You might still be useful to her in the short term, comfort, companionship, or financial support. But in her heart, she's already planning a life that doesn't include you. Here's where men sabotage themselves. Instead of respecting her words, they fight harder to change her mind. They buy gifts, plan trips, and make promises about what life together could look like. But that only highlights the imbalance. She doesn't feel it, and you're trying to sell her on it. And here's the core truth. Attraction and connection can't be negotiated. If she doesn't feel it now, no speech, no gift, no promise will magically flip the switch. So when you hear, I don't see a future with you, don't argue, don't plead, don't sell yourself like a product. Respect her honesty and respect yourself enough to leave. Because the longer you stay, the more you degrade your own value. Key lesson. So far, I need space usually means she's already detaching. I don't see a future with you is her final decision, not an invitation to negotiate. Both are not warnings to wait. They're instructions to walk away. 7. Maybe we should just be friends. On the surface, this sounds innocent, even kind. She's not rejecting you, she's offering a softer landing, friendship. Most men hear this and think, at least she still wants me in her life. If I accept the friendship, maybe over time she'll change her mind and want me back. That's the trap. Because maybe we should just be friends isn't an invitation. It's a downgrade. She's taking you from the role of man to the role of placeholder. From partner to backup. From someone she was once intimate with to someone who gets only the leftovers of her attention. Think about what friendship really means in this context. She gets your emotional support, your loyalty, your time, maybe even your resources, but without giving you intimacy, commitment, or respect in return. It's the perfect arrangement for her and the worst one for you. Why? Because while you're stuck being her friend, she's free to date other men. She gets to move on guilt-free, knowing you're still around to comfort her when things go wrong. You become her emotional safety net, the guy she leans on when the men she actually desires let her down. Here's the truth. If a woman genuinely respects you and feels a real connection, she will never suggest downgrading you to just friends. That phrase only comes when attraction is gone. And once attraction is gone, no amount of patience or friendly support will bring it back. The worst mistake men make is agreeing to this. They think they're playing the long game, but in reality, they're just stuck in limbo while she moves forward with her life. Months pass, sometimes years, and you realize you were never her plan A. You were her backup plan. So here's the rule. When she says, maybe we should just be friends, don't accept the downgrade. Don't cling to the scraps of her attention. Don't trade intimacy for crumbs. Respect yourself enough to walk away completely. Because here's the paradox most men don't realize. The only chance, if any, that attraction might return is if you refuse the friendship. By walking away fully, you show strength, independence, and self-respect. That's the kind of energy women respond to. Not neediness, not patience, not friendship. But even if she never comes back, and most don't, you win. Because you protected your time, your energy, and your dignity. The bigger picture. Why these 7 phrases matter. Let's zoom out. Each of these 7 phrases has one thing in common. Their exit strategies. Different tones, different disguises, but the same core meaning. She's telling you, directly or indirectly, that her heart is no longer in it. Most men waste years ignoring these signals. They keep investing, keep waiting, keep hoping. They rewrite her words into something softer, something easier to swallow. She said she needs space, but that just means she's stressed. Or, she said we should be friends, but maybe that's temporary. But denial doesn't save you. It only prolongs the pain. The truth is, women are rarely as unclear as men think. They may soften their words, but they rarely lie about where they stand. The problem is, men don't want to hear it. They'd rather cling to hope than face reality. But here's the secret. Freedom begins the moment you listen. When you take her words at face value, you stop being trapped. You stop wasting time trying to force a connection that's already broken. You stop negotiating for love that isn't freely given. And most importantly, you start protecting yourself. What walking away really means. Walking away doesn't mean you're bitter. It doesn't mean you hate her. It doesn't even mean you failed. It means you respect yourself too much to settle for less than mutual love, respect, and commitment. It means you understand this core truth. Loyalty cannot be begged. Attraction cannot be negotiated. And love cannot be forced. It means you value your time and energy enough to invest it only in a woman who chooses you fully. Not halfway, not temporarily, not conditionally. Walking away isn't weakness, it's power. Because every step away from the wrong woman is a step closer to the right one. Final lesson. Stop translating. Start listening. Men lose years of their lives, not because women lied, but because men refused to listen. She told you she didn't need you. You thought she was being playful. She told you she wasn't ready. You thought she'd change her mind. She told you she didn't see a future. You thought you could convince her. She told you maybe you should just be friends. You thought patience would win her back. Every time the truth was right there in her words. And every time denial cost you more than the breakup itself. So here's the ultimate code unlocked. Stop translating what she says into what you want to hear. Start listening to what she actually means. Because when you listen, you gain clarity. And when you gain clarity, you reclaim your power. The 7 phrases every man must walk away from. 1. I don't need you. 2. You're too good for me. 3. I'm not ready for a relationship. 4. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. 5. I need space. 6. I don't see a future with you. 7. Maybe we should just be friends. Each one is not a puzzle to solve. It's an answer already given. And the strongest men are not the ones who fight to stay. The strongest men are the ones who hear the truth, accept it, and walk away with their dignity intact.